Today's video is going to be a response to Dogen's recent video on teaching English in Japan. I think it's a great video and hilarious in its own right. I just wanted to step in and add a little bit of my own context and experience. Hopefully that would be useful for some of you. Hopefully this will help answer any questions as to whether or not it is still worth it to teach English in Japan. お久しぶりです。Cruxay でございます。I recently came across Dogen's video on I want to teach English in Japan, or 日本で英語を教えたい. Glad to see you're still doing very well, buddy, and have a very healthy channel. Very entertaining video. Really like what Dogen does and has to say here, and really breaks down the really weird dichotomy of those who want to live abroad and teach English as a second language despite having zero qualifications to do so, other than English being their native language in most cases. Beyond being extremely entertaining, this video was also probably some pretty good self-reflection for those who are seriously contemplating moving to Japan and the career choice of teaching English here. Spoiler alert, but the video ends with Dogen saying, just do what you truly want to do as a profession here in Japan. And of course, while that is wholehearted, excellent advice that I myself would also like to follow, it can be quite challenging if one doesn't have the skill set, career, or extremely strong Japanese to go along with it. And the video was, of course, directed at those who do not currently reside in Japan, have never been to Japan most likely, or maybe not beyond a trip here in the past, and those who want to live here permanently and teach English, or maybe do another job, of course. If you're looking for motivation on the subject of moving to Japan, check out the video I made earlier on this subject. If you are here to look for potential careers in Japan, either inside or outside of language education, then this video will be for you. It is broken down into two parts. First part, I'll go over some major professions that are in high demand in Japan currently. And the second part will be if, let's say, you do have an English teaching job here, but you want to pivot out of that. As Dogen had mentioned in his video, your kujigoji, or your 9 to 5, will be the most important determining factor as to how happy you are in Japan. So let's look at how we can improve on that. First, let's have a look at some professions. If you speak decent Japanese, that would probably be JLPT levels N1 or N2. Some of these jobs could include work in the service industry, such as hotels, in particular in major urban areas, or major resort destinations such as Hokkaido or Okinawa. Japanese companies looking for global talent or non-Japanese talent for expansion overseas is also a good bet. Good places to find jobs like this would be at the Boston Career Forum. Just check that out online. I'll try and link it somewhere here. Or essentially retail shop staff would be another one, and it would also help quite a bit if you spoke another language in addition to Japanese and English. That would probably go a long way, such as Mandarin or Mandarin or Mandarin. That would also be useful. Next, let's look at some professions where Japanese is not so highly in demand, or not so required, rather. This would probably be anywhere from levels N3 to N5 on the JLPT. Engineers and IT specialists. If you studied computer science in school, my friend, you are in luck. There is such a demand for IT specialists and engineers in Japan right now that you probably don't even need to speak any Japanese, to be honest. English teaching, obviously, although it's nothing quite as illustrious as it was in the bubble era in the 80s and early 90s. I've heard stories of English teachers simply sitting down to dinner with someone and getting paid thousands of dollars to just speak English to them. Yeah, born too late, right? Although not, of course, desirable for everyone, it is still the leading way to get into the country to this day, legally. Common routes for this would obviously include the JET program, as well as your big eikaiwa companies, such as, I don't have to list them, do I? Modeling, this is clearly why I was let into the country. However, this is probably only particular to you if you are of a certain look, let's say, and also below 20 years old or so. It's not really for anyone past 20 to my knowledge. In addition to this, they are quite particular in terms of what type of foreigner you are, i.e. blonde hair goes a lot further than black or brunette. recruitment, otherwise known as headhunting. Also a very popular one, probably quite up there after English teaching, I would assume. Many English teachers are recruiters in Japan. The hard skill requirements for that is quite low, and it's traditionally a job that most Japanese people deemed unnecessary, as most people didn't even change jobs previously in the past, so that's why lots of non-Japanese, lots of foreigners are doing that job as well. Expat, of course, if you have some experience in Japan and speak a little bit of the language, just the basics, then go knock on your HR department's door and see if there are any opportunities to be parachuted over. Most companies, if large enough, should have a branch in Japan, and there should be opportunities from time to time, so definitely put your hand up for that if that's an option for you. Part 2 is coming up in a sec, guys. Just wanted to take a quick break and thank you for tuning in this long if you have. Hope this has been valuable to you. Please do let me know what it is you intend to do in Japan or are already doing in Japan. Anything from the list above, anything I missed, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you. Also, if you're looking for something to just have on in the background to relax to or study to, my good buddy from previous video, Kiwi, Nick the Kiwi, has a series of videos from the beach overlooking Mount Fuji, so I have that on typically in the background when I'm studying or doing something like reading, and it's quite nice, so please do check it out if you have a moment. I'll link it below or above or somewhere. Okay, now back to the video. How to get out of English teaching if you're stuck in it. Now, although I'm not proud of it, the reason I know this works is because it only took me 1 month to escape eikaiwa. Yep, that's right, 1 month to escape the world of teaching English in Japan and find something that paid way better and actually made me feel like I was making a contribution in Japan. Let's say you tried a few options, you looked around, and English teaching seems to be the most realistic option at this point in time. You still want to be in Japan, no matter what, you'll bite the bullet, you'll take the job. Full disclaimer here, guys, just to be clear, I do not have anything against those who want to or are currently teaching English in Japan, if that's what you truly want to do. I do, however, have issues with eikaiwas being the literal McDonald's of language learning. You go in, you pay for the hamburger, the smile is free, and you get no nutritional value. In eikaiwa, you get overly structured, rigid lesson plans, an English language expert, and end up leaving with retaining very little language knowledge or ability. So let's say that not the end of the world, you get one of these jobs, but you do want to get out of it and move on to something else that you're a little bit more passionate about eventually. Once you're in Japan and you have your visa, it is much easier for other companies to take a chance on you as you are already here physically. One thing to keep in mind about teaching in eikaiwa is that you are literally disposable. I don't mean that in a bad way, if there is a way to not mean that in a bad way. But literally in that the moment you leave, you will be replaced by a dozen others waiting to take your place. The company and the school doesn't really care all that much about you and would probably pay you less and work you harder if they legally could. Before I have everyone getting all triggered at me that teaching English in Japan is a meaningful job, it's not. Not the way it's set up and run in Japan. In Japan, it is literally set up as a business, and profit is the only thing that matters. If Japanese students were coming out of these eikaiwa lessons with vastly improved English, then there wouldn't be a need to send boatloads of underqualified English experts to Japan every year. So my point really is it's a system, and this is how you work the system. So back to my point, which is that these companies don't really care about you. They will make you go through painfully complex trainings, stuff you in little rooms to teach, watch over you, literally. They will record you and make sure that you're staying in line. They will pay you a salary comparable to that of working part-time in Starbucks, and that might get you by if you're living in Saitama, but not if you're in Tokyo or any major city for that matter. So here's where the strategy comes into play. The trick is to utilize your free time. You'll be poor anyways. If you are working in an eikaiwa school, you will be given the worst schedule known to man. Something along the lines of Monday through Fridays, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5. So it's not like you'll be able to go out and party with all your friends, if you have any friends. Don't worry, you won't. This is so all the teachers that have been working at that eikaiwa school since the dawn of time can get their weekends off. Now this may seem like total trash at first, but accept it. Reason why? You're essentially a working professional that has all the time in the world when everyone else is working. That leaves you with a ton of time to plan, network, study, and meet with companies during the day. Depending on your current level of Japanese and your network prior to, you can probably find something pretty easily within a year or two, and if not, you have a lot of time for self-improvement. So to bring this back into focus of Dogen's video, if you really want to stay here long term and not end up leaving bitter and broken like we've seen so many before, don't go spending all that time in Akiba or dating girls who are literally just using you to learn free English, as fun as that is at first. Really invest that time on your passion and your purpose for why you want to be here. And before anyone tells me this sounds a bit righteous, don't get me wrong, I am doing another job still. I put my true passion aside, which was doing things like this, making videos, sharing Japan with the world. I put that on the back burner for the better half of a decade, and I've literally been kicking myself ever since for giving up on my passion to pursue a real career. Don't get me wrong, of course, I really do feel I've created a sense of value and purpose in what I've been doing in my life here in Japan. But really, my job has become so much of me that I have to remind myself that I'm actually living in Japan and in Tokyo sometimes. Sometimes it's as if I'm living in any big city in the world, really, and I've forgotten to enjoy a lot of the things that truly brought me joy of living in Japan in the first place. So as long as you guys don't lose sight of that, keep watching my videos, of course, and do your homework before you get here, then you should be in a pretty good spot. That's it for this time, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it useful. If you've made it this far, then please do slap that like button, comment, subscribe, do whatever it is you do, and I'll see you guys in the next video.